Let's turn now to our economics editor, Liam Halligan, to talk through the real-world impact of this. Because what Sajid Javid said this morning is true. The bottom 70% will pay less national insurance, but they'll probably pay more tax because of those threshold freezes on income tax as well. It's a complicated picture.
It is a complicated picture, Tom, and with the best will in the world, sometimes you think it's like one of the arts of government is making it as complicated as it can possibly be. So people like me and you have to detangle it all on television and everybody loses their mind. I think one thing that's worth pointing out that isn't quite punching through in the interviews and coverage I've seen so far is, yes, on this NIC rise, which comes into today, as you rightly say, it's a 1.25 percentage point increase in employees, workers, NICs. It goes up for employers too. So workers are now paying 13.25% of their income on national insurance, which is tax, right? It's just taxed by another name. So that's going up. At the same time, the rabbit that Rishi Sunak pulled out of his hat in his spring statement was that the threshold where you start paying NIC also goes up by about £2,500 to just under £13,000. So that's more generous because more of your income is not covered by that NIC. But hold on, because this is the key point.
Yes.
The tax rate increases now. The threshold only increases in July. Right? So you've got 3 months when everyone's paying more NIC if they work. Pensions don't pay NIC. People who aren't working don't pay NIC. So everyone's paying more NIC above the threshold, albeit a higher threshold. But it's above the old threshold. The new threshold, which is the bit that allows Sajid Javid to say 70% of people will pay less, doesn't come in until July. So if you listen really closely to what ministers are saying, they're kind of slightly canny with the tenses that they use. They will,
yes.
Not now, but it will.
That's fascinating.
And this is the sort of thing that journalists like us, I know you're a really analytical guy as well, we have to tell our viewers and listeners, this is what's really going on. There is a swizz in this. The threshold goes up a lot later than the tax rate goes up.
So for 3 months, people of many people on very low incomes will see much more
bang on the money.
Incomes.
You are on the money.
Well, we'll look forward to on the money from one. But this will be interesting politically because, of course, there are local elections coming up at the start of next month. People will have had their first tax hike pay slips by then. That's going to be a significantly more taxed pay slip for most low earners than it will be 3 months from now. Where does the politics play into this?
So when we did the Spring Statement special on GBNews, Gloria and I were presenting, you and Darren were doing a great job down at Westminster. We started to tease this out, didn't we? Almost immediately, we said he's going to have to do more in the summer. He's just going to have to do more in the summer because he hasn't done enough for poorer people. It's not only that benefits were frozen at 3.1% when inflation is 7 or 8%, the official prediction for this year. It's not only that, it's also that this NIC rise kicks in big time now before the threshold goes up in 3 months' time to slightly offset that increase for those lower income workers. These aren't the poorest. These are people in work. And they're being biffed with this much higher tax bill as their fuel bills are going up as well. And I think, and I've said this before, I think Rishi Sunak has seriously failed to grasp the extent of this cost of living triple whammy that is being imposed. It's not his fault. He's right to say, Sajid Javid is right to say, look, this is a global thing. You know, the British economy...
The rate of inflation is higher in the United States, the same in the European Union.
The British economy is being managed reasonably well. It's a long conversation, but it's not like they're particularly incompetent. Where I think they've been politically tin-eared is to go through with that national insurance rate rise now just because Rishi Sunak wants to burnish his credentials as I'm in charge and I'm the Chancellor, only then to pull out a tax cut in a year's time.
Which was obviously decided late in the day because that's why you have the 3-month delay, I suppose. It takes time to feed this into the system.
I really don't think it does. Look, I mean... It's not sort of people with visors and in white shirts and bits of crayon and cards. You know, this is a highly mechanised system. HMRC has its drawbacks, but there are very powerful computers at work.
Liam Halligan, is this you suggesting that the government might in some way be efficient? I'm amazed.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is I'm pointing out its relative efficiency. It's efficient enough to impose a policy if it wants to now. It doesn't have to wait 3 months to increase this NIC threshold in order to make what the ministers have been saying actually true now. It will only be true in July. It's only after July, after these local elections, after this cost of living increase has really kicked in big time. I think there's going to be non-payment of bills by a lot of people, by the way.
I suppose the government is really going to sit tight and hope for a lot better weather over the next few months. That's basically all they have in their arsenal.
Yeah, weather... OK, of course, you use more energy on heating in the winter, obviously, but, air conditioning takes up a lot of energy. And, petrol, you drive more in the summer, petrol and diesel prices are going up. I mean, I don't want to sound too cynical, but it's almost as if the Treasury has laid a trap here. There's going to be I do think the Conservatives are going to feel a lot of political heat as and when people really, as Labour cotton on, not sure they have yet, to the fact that there's a mismatch between when the national insurance rate goes up and when the threshold goes up. It was barely mentioned in the Chancellor's speech. It's barely been written about. But it's going to be a big story.
Big story. Next 3 months, particularly squeezing. Well, Liam Halligan, you'll be back at 1 p.m. for On the Money. We'll look forward to seeing these issues discussed in far more detail then.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us now.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.